Let me tell you talking tips. Alex often felt a knot in their stomach whenever an English conversation arose. The words just wouldn't come out, stuck somewhere between their brain and their tongue. Despite years of studying grammar and vocabulary, the ability to simply talk in English seemed an impossible dream. They yearned for fluency, imagining themselves effortlessly engaging with people from around the globe, but the fear of making mistakes always held them back, a constant invisible barrier. The frustration mounted daily. Alex would diligently review textbooks, memorize lists of idioms, and even watch countless online tutorials on talking tips. Yet, when faced with a real person, their mind would go blank, vocabulary scattering like startled birds. They knew the theory, understood the rules, but the practical application of how to speak English remained elusive, a puzzle with missing pieces. One quiet afternoon, browsing a local library, a vibrant flyer caught Alex's eye. It advertised an English learning club, emphasizing "learn English through stories." Intrigued, Alex picked it up, feeling a faint glimmer of hope. Could narratives, rather than dry exercises, truly unlock the secret to becoming a confident speaker? This new approach certainly sounded more appealing than endless grammar drills, a refreshing alternative. The first session was daunting. Everyone seemed so much more confident. Alex quietly took a seat, trying to blend into the background, nervous about the mandatory English talking practice. The facilitator, a kind woman named Eliza, noticed Alex's apprehension immediately. Eliza's warm smile and encouraging words made the intimidating environment feel slightly less overwhelming, fostering a tentative sense of belonging. Eliza began by telling a captivating story, her voice clear and expressive. She encouraged everyone to simply listen English, without pressure to respond immediately. Alex found themselves surprisingly absorbed, following the plot with ease, understanding far more than they anticipated. This was different. It wasn't a test, but an immersive experience, a gentle invitation into the language's rhythm and flow. After the story, Eliza asked simple questions, inviting participation, but stressing that how people speak English naturally involves hesitations and mistakes. She patiently rephrased queries, offering alternative words, making everyone feel safe to experiment. Alex, emboldened slightly, managed a simple yes to a question, a small victory, but a significant one in their personal language journey. Alex started attending the club regularly, drawn by the engaging stories and Eliza's supportive approach. They discovered that listening and practice were two sides of the same coin. The more they listened, the more comfortable they felt, the more they practiced, even just internally, the more natural the words became, building a silent confidence that slowly began to manifest. Eliza introduced specific, talking tips, such as pausing to collect thoughts or using filler words to buy time. These practical strategies helped Alex manage their anxiety during conversations. They learned that fluency wasn't about speed, but about clarity and confidence. These simple, actionable tips transformed seemingly insurmountable hurdles into manageable steps, making the daunting task of speaking feel achievable. Vocabulary acquisition also became less of a chore. Instead of memorizing isolated words, Alex learned how to learn words within the context of the stories. New words acquired meaning and nuance through their role in the narrative, making them easier to recall and use. This contextual learning proved far more effective than rote memorization, embedding words deeply into memory. One day, during a partner activity, Alex was paired with an outgoing club member named Sam. Sam spoke fluently, but with a kind and encouraging demeanor. Alex felt a familiar surge of panic, but remembered Eliza's advice: focus on understanding, not perfection. This simple shift in mindset began to alleviate the paralyzing fear that usually gripped them. Sam began sharing a personal anecdote, speaking slowly and clearly. Alex focused intently, listening English with new purpose. They found themselves not just decoding words, but grasping the emotion and intent behind them. This active listening made a profound difference, transforming a passive intake of sound into a dynamic, meaningful comprehension process. When it was Alex's turn, they took a deep breath. Instead of trying to construct perfect sentences, they aimed for conveying their message, however imperfectly. They used simple vocabulary and familiar sentence structures, prioritizing communication over grammatical flawlessness. This strategic simplification made the task feel less overwhelming, opening pathways for expression. Sam patiently waited, offering a reassuring nod. Alex stumbled a few times, but Sam's encouraging presence made it easier to push through the discomfort. This experience was vital English talking practice, a real-world application of all the talking tips learned in the club, proving that genuine communication transcended minor errors, making the effort worthwhile. Eliza also encouraged them to observe how people speak English in movies, podcasts, and daily life. She suggested paying attention to intonation, pauses, and common expressions. Alex started watching their favorite shows with English subtitles, then without, noticing the natural flow of conversation and picking up idiomatic phrases effortlessly. This immersion helped Alex understand the rhythm and music of the language, something no textbook could teach. They began to internalize natural speech patterns, improving their pronunciation and fluency without conscious effort. The language started feeling less like a foreign code and more like an expressive medium, a natural extension of their thoughts. The club's weekly storytelling sessions became Alex's favorite. They actively participated in creating collaborative narratives, forcing them to improvise and think on their feet. This was how to talk in English in a truly creative, unscripted way, pushing their boundaries beyond prepared dialogues, fostering spontaneous and confident expression. Alex found that the joy of crafting a story outweighed the fear of making mistakes. The focus shifted from grammatical accuracy to imaginative expression, which paradoxically improved their accuracy anyway. This playful approach to English talking practice made learning enjoyable, reinforcing retention and building genuine communication skills organically. Eliza often emphasized that how to talk with anyone begins with genuine curiosity and active listening. She taught them to ask open-ended questions and to truly hear the answers, fostering a two-way exchange rather than a monologue. This advice transformed conversations from daunting performances into engaging opportunities for connection and learning. Alex began applying these talking tips outside the club. They initiated conversations with shopkeepers, asked for directions, and even chatted briefly with strangers on public transport. Each small interaction, no matter how brief, was a valuable piece of English talking practice, chipping away at their shyness and building their conversational muscles. They realized that how to improve your English wasn't a linear path, but a spiral of continuous learning and application. Every successful conversation, every new word understood, every story absorbed, contributed to their growing confidence and proficiency. This holistic approach, combining various techniques, proved remarkably effective and sustainable. The process of how to learn words evolved significantly for Alex. They started keeping a small notebook, jotting down interesting phrases and expressions encountered in stories or conversations. Instead of just definitions, they noted contexts and synonyms, ensuring a deeper understanding and better retention of new vocabulary. Eliza also encouraged them to listen and practice regularly with various accents. She provided resources for British, American, and Australian English, explaining that exposure to different pronunciations and intonations would broaden their comprehension skills. Alex found that diversity of input enriched their learning significantly. Alex downloaded podcasts on diverse topics, ensuring a constant stream of Listen English opportunities. They started listening during their commute, while doing chores, turning every mundane moment into a chance to immerse themselves in the language. This consistent exposure accelerated their auditory comprehension, making English sound more natural. The stories, however, remained the cornerstone of their learning. Whether it was classic literature adapted for learners or contemporary short stories shared in the club, each narrative offered a rich tapestry of vocabulary and grammar in action. Learn English through stories became more than a method, it was a passion. They even began retelling stories in their own words during club sessions, a challenging yet rewarding English talking practice. This forced them to summarize, paraphrase, and articulate complex ideas simply, strengthening their expressive abilities immensely. The act of storytelling truly built their confidence from the ground up. Alex started noticing nuances in how people speak English, the subtle shifts in tone, the use of sarcasm, the unsaid implications in conversations. This deeper understanding allowed them to engage more authentically, not just reciting learned phrases, but truly participating in the ebb and flow of natural discourse, enhancing their communicative competence. The fear of making mistakes, once paralyzing, slowly dissipated. Alex realized that mistakes were simply stepping stones, not roadblocks. Every mispronounced word or grammatical error became a learning opportunity, a chance to refine their understanding and practice, solidifying the belief that error was an essential part of growth. Eliza always said, "The goal is not perfection, but communication." This mantra resonated deeply with Alex, freeing them from the self-imposed pressure of flawless speech. They embraced the journey, understanding that fluency was about continuous improvement, a constant evolution, rather than a fixed, unattainable destination. Alex even started helping newer members in the club, sharing their own talking tips and encouraging them to listen and practice. Teaching others inadvertently solidified their own understanding and boosted their confidence further. It was a testament to how far they had come, from shy beginner to supportive mentor. One significant breakthrough came during a community event where Alex found themselves chatting effortlessly with several native speakers. The conversation flowed naturally, punctuated by laughter and genuine interest. This wasn't English talking practice anymore. It was real, unforced communication, a joyous validation of their diligent efforts. They discussed everything from local cuisine to global events, seamlessly navigating different topics. Alex realized they were no longer translating in their head but thinking directly in English. This effortless transition marked a pivotal moment in their journey, signifying a true internalization of the language's mechanics and nuances. The specific talking tips Eliza had shared, such as asking follow-up questions or rephrasing statements for clarity, now came naturally. Alex employed them without conscious thought, seamlessly guiding conversations and ensuring mutual understanding. These tools, once difficult, had become instinctive, part of their natural communication style. Their ability to learn words had also become highly efficient. They could infer meanings from context, remember new vocabulary instantly, and even use newly acquired idioms appropriately. The vast lexicon they had built through stories and exposure was now readily accessible, enhancing their expressive range considerably. The joy of understanding nuanced jokes and cultural references was immense. Alex could finally appreciate how people speak English beyond just words, grasping the cultural subtext that often eluded them before. This deeper comprehension opened up new avenues for connection and cultural exchange, enriching their interactions. They also began to notice the varied ways people use English depending on their background and purpose. This insight into linguistic diversity further enhanced their adaptability in conversations, allowing them to adjust their own speaking style to match different contexts, a true sign of advanced proficiency. Alex realized that how to improve your English was an ongoing commitment, not a finite project. They continued to listen English to a variety of sources, actively seeking out new vocabulary and challenging themselves with more complex stories and discussions. Learning became a lifelong adventure, not a burden. The confidence they had gained transcended language. It permeated other areas of their life, making them more assertive and outgoing in general. The journey of mastering English had inadvertently taught them invaluable lessons about perseverance, resilience, and the power of consistent effort, shaping their entire personality. They remembered the shy, hesitant person they once were, unable to string a coherent sentence together in English. Now, they were confidently debating topics, sharing personal stories, and even cracking jokes, a transformation so profound it sometimes felt like a dream. The past self seemed a distant memory. Learn English through stories had been the magical key. The narratives provided a natural, engaging framework for acquiring grammar, vocabulary, and cultural insights. They made the often abstract world of language concrete and relatable, fostering an emotional connection that accelerated learning beyond mere academic study. The consistent English talking practice, both structured and spontaneous, had cemented their theoretical knowledge into practical ability. It was through repeated application that the words flowed more freely, the pronunciation became clearer, and the hesitation faded, proving that consistent output was just as vital as input. Alex understood that effective listening and practice was the engine of progress. It wasn't about cramming, but about consistent, enjoyable engagement with the language. This rhythm of input and output, maintained diligently over months, gradually smoothed out the rough edges of their English, leading to seamless communication. They often shared their journey with new club members, emphasizing the importance of patience and self-compassion. "Don't be afraid to make mistakes," Alex would advise, echoing Eliza's wisdom. "That's how you truly learn how to talk in English, by daring to try, even imperfectly, every single day." Alex also shared specific strategies for how to learn words, advising them to create mind maps, use flashcards with sentences, and engage in active recall rather than passive review. These techniques, refined through their own experience, became invaluable resources for others struggling with vocabulary acquisition. The biggest reward, however, was the ability to how to talk with anyone. Barriers had crumbled. They could now connect with people from diverse backgrounds, share perspectives, and build bridges of understanding across cultures, enriching their life in ways they had never imagined possible, fostering true global citizenship. Alex's confidence shone brightly, a testament to their dedication and the effective methods they embraced. They had not just learned a language, they had unlocked a new version of themselves, more confident, more connected, and more capable, proving that language learning is often a profound journey of self-discovery. The English Club remained a cherished part of their life, a supportive community that celebrated every small victory. It was a place where how people speak English was not just observed but actively practiced and refined, fostering an environment of continuous growth and mutual encouragement for all members. Alex's story served as an inspiration to many. They proved that with the right approach and unwavering persistence, anyone could transform their English skills, moving beyond basic comprehension to true fluency and confident expression, making the daunting task of language acquisition an exciting adventure. The journey wasn't without its challenges, moments of doubt, and occasional setbacks. But Alex learned to view these as temporary detours, not permanent roadblocks. Their resilience grew with each obstacle overcome, solidifying their belief in the power of consistent effort and positive mindset. They now understood that how to improve your English was not about reaching a destination, but about enjoying the continuous process of learning and growing. It was about embracing the imperfections, celebrating small victories, and constantly seeking new ways to engage with the language, ensuring sustained progress. Alex often reflected on Eliza's simple yet profound advice: just keep showing up. This commitment to consistent presence and effort, whether for listening, reading, or speaking, proved to be the single most important factor in their remarkable transformation from hesitant speaker to confident communicator. The world had opened up. International travel became more enriching, professional opportunities expanded, and personal connections deepened. Alex's command of English was no longer a dream but a lived reality, a powerful tool enabling them to navigate diverse environments with ease and confidence, truly experiencing global culture. They had learned that talking tips were only effective when put into consistent action. Theoretical knowledge meant little without practical application. Every tip, from pausing to rephrasing, contributed to a mosaic of skills that, when combined, empowered them to express themselves clearly and effectively in any situation. The narratives consumed through Learn English Through Stories had not only improved their language but also broadened their worldview. Each tale offered a glimpse into different cultures and perspectives, fostering empathy and understanding, making them a more well-rounded individual, capable of appreciating global narratives. And the simple act of Listen English became a continuous pleasure, not just a learning exercise. Music, movies, podcasts, and conversations were no longer just sounds but rich tapestries of meaning and emotion, fully accessible and enjoyable, immersing them deeply into the vibrant world of the English language. So, Alex's message to anyone struggling was clear: embrace the stories, listen deeply, practice relentlessly, and don't fear mistakes. The journey to fluency is possible, fulfilling, and opens up a world of connections, proving that consistent effort and the right methods truly make all the difference.